All right, so welcome to part 3. If you've been watching, you know we have reached a critical point here in this trip. It's Rittenhouse Square. It's not really critical at all, but we don't normally stop in Rittenhouse Square, but we did now, and this was another opportunity for me to fix a frame on my skate. You'll see this happen quite often. You know, if you're curious about how far these things go, I would say follow me on Instagram. It's DangerMan XX. I always post the maps from these long distance skates through the cities, whether Philly or New York. In this case, we're going to now head towards Broad Street. So that's where this section of the video will take us. It'll take us right out of Union Square. I'm sorry, take us out of Rittenhouse Square in a direct, I guess I would like to say, easterly direction across the city. I mean, we are kind of in the southern part of the city. I mean, this is, for all intents and purposes, center city, but we're heading towards South Philly. But we're heading from a western direction and an eastern direction across the city itself. At this point here, you're going to see me actually take a seat and work on the frame. I realize I've got a bigger frame problem than I realized, and the group is going to wait for me for a moment. And this stuff is really annoying. Now these skates are Power Slide R4s. They're a mid-cuff. I wear them now because of the damage that was done to my foot in a paintball accident. The wheels on them are 120 millimeters as opposed to the largest wheels that you can purchase right now are 125s. And the frames are a maple frame made by the company Maple. They're a nice long 13-inch frame despite only being 3 wheels. So that gives you a longer frame base so that when you're skating at high speeds, like up over 30 miles per hour, for instance, if you're bombing down a hill, it's a very stable ride. They're not very nimble. You can't cut short corners, but I'm not that kind of skater. I'm more of a power skater. I like to get up to higher speeds. This is probably a good time if you've got the means to do it. Flip the camera around. Check out the rear view. You'll see that I have an iPod actually mounted to the back of my helmet. I use wireless earphones, but even if I didn't, I could take a short run from the cable right from the back of that iPod to my ears. If you're watching this 360 on a phone, all you have to do is stand in place and rotate your body, and as you move, the actual view of what you're watching will move as well. It's a pretty nifty feature. But if you're watching on a PC, then hopefully you know enough to take your mouse and drag the screen to move the screen to flip around in the 360 view. You can really hear the wind whizzing through the microphone. I try to give some ambient background noise and turn it down a little bit so you get a general understanding of, like, you know, what's going on in the background, but it gets hard. I get to the point where I have to really turn the volume down because the wind noise is just so ridiculous. So now we've taken a right and we're skating somewhat parallel to Broad Street. We're about to, I'm sure, take another left here at some point and then just cross Broad Street altogether. You probably heard me call out car left there a moment ago. There was a lot of one-way streets in Philly, so we only have to call out, you know, car left or car right, essentially, in regards to that street that's crossing over us if it's a vehicle that has a green light and we need to, you know, yield to the vehicle, so to speak. So there we go. We took that left now, and so at this point you're going to see us kind of head towards Broad Street. And we've now kind of entered into the border of South Philly. We're gonna kind of transverse Lombard, I believe, or South Street at this point. Again, this is a recreational skate. It's a very casual skate. We're crossing Broad Street now. You're gonna watch this lady. There's at some point there was some lady giving us advice to be careful. I thought that was hilarious. Just watching a bunch of skaters skate together, and you know, you can't really go, hey, shut up, lady. The appropriate response is actually just, thanks. You know, why feed somebody's anger or angst? Nothing really shuts people down by, like, killing them with kindness. And if it doesn't shut them down, then they just, you maintain the high road and they're the bad guy. You see my son here zipping by. He was holding a corner earlier, I believe. And now he's trying to make his way back up to the front of the group. I think this is the section where it happens. If not here, you'll see it happen again. Now, as in a similar series of videos I put up from the previous month of some 360 video, where I was not skating at the front of the group. The reason for this, if it's not already clear, is that my frames have shifted and are off to the side of my foot, and in addition to that, they're loose. So depending on how I torque, if I get on the inside edge, it shifts back to the other side. It's just a really unstable skate, and it drives me nuts. So I'm just kind of skating carefully. All right, so we've reached yet another park in Philly. Did you know there are this many of these? They're all over the place. And we're going to take a break here. We're going to get skating again while you watch me fix my skate.